Hey everybody, welcome back to our Queen's Commerce supplementary essay series. If you don't know me, my name's Charlie. I am one of the Queen's Commerce admissions coaches here at Admissions Ally, and today I'm going to be talking about the last set of questions for January 2021. So if you're on this video, chances are, number one, you're interested in Queen's Commerce, and number two, you're going to be applying this month. The deadline is February 15th, and this is the last set of questions for this admission year. So if you want to apply to Queen's Commerce, make sure you stick around and hear what we have to say about how to approach this question. That being said, let's get into it. So here's the third question for this month's essay set. Think about a time where you questioned something you thought to be true. Why did your beliefs come into question, and what was the result of this reflection? All right, so let's break this question down because it's a little long. I've separated it into three parts. Firstly, think about a time where you questioned something you thought to be true. So in the last 16 or 17 years of your life, particularly in the last 4 to 5 years when you started high school, is there something that you've always thought to be true, or a set of beliefs that you've had? Think about that. Secondly, given the beliefs or belief or perspective that you've had, is there any time where these beliefs came into question? And if so, why did they come into question? What experience catalyzed this questioning of your belief? And lastly, what was the result of this reflection, right? Given that you had this perspective, given that you had this experience that caused your beliefs to come into question, what was the result, right? Did you change your beliefs? Did your beliefs stay the same? Did this experience reinforce your belief? What actually happened, right? So don't be confused about this question. It seems quite long, but if you break it down into these three sub-questions and try to outline it and really understand what your belief is, what experience caused it to come into question, and what was the result, it's going to be simpler for you to answer this question. So, given now that we're understanding the question, let's take a look at this outline that we've created. So we've broken this down, the essay, into 4 parts. Number 1 being hook, number 2 being context, number 3 the catalyst, and lastly the outcome or impact. So I'll walk through these one by one. If you want to give the video a pause and read it yourself, and then come back, play it while I explain through it, feel free to do that. But if you want to just watch it in real time, I'll go through it right now. So the first section, the hook. You want to capture the reader's attention and give them a preview of what's to come. This can also simply be an introduction to set up the essay so the reader knows what to expect. So with all great essays comes a great introduction, right? So try to write your first 3 sentences in a way that captures the reader's attention. Secondly, taking a look at the context, you before, right? So give some context and set the scene on you before your beliefs came into question. What did you believe and why? What was your perspective? What perspective was that? Where were you in life and in your development as a person, and how is that impacting your belief? And now it's important that we avoid mentioning a weakness where they might see you as a high-risk student, or a sensitive topic. For example, politics. We probably don't want to be talking about politics in a university essay, since the admissions committee reading this is going to be quite diverse, and you want to make sure you don't have any polarizing opinions, right? Next paragraph, we talk about the experience, right? So given the belief or the perspective that we set up in the previous paragraph, what's this experience that made you question that belief, right? Give details about how it happened and paint the picture for the reader with just enough relevant details of the story to create a story. Don't go overboard. Don't be cliche, right? The night was darker than a dungeon, and a storm so great the birds were chirping. Yeah, we don't want any of that. Let's just be concise and to the point. And for sure, we want to mention how and why this experience forced you to reflect or question your belief. So far, we've had the hook where we introduce what's to come. We have the context of you before, right, where you outline your perspective or your belief. We talk about the experience that catalyzed the change or not change of your belief, right? And lastly, we have the outcome or impact, right? You should be highlighting the ways this experience changed your belief, ideally for the better. Or if this experience didn't change your belief, or rather reinforced your belief, how did it do that as well? Provide perspective on how you grew, how you matured, right? And make sure you connect it to this belief, rather, to how it'll impact your life as a student at Queen's Commerce. So, while this outline looks all fine and great, what does this mean, like, practically, right? So we have an example here to give you some perspective on what this essay might look like. So again, if you want to pause the video right now and read the essay before coming back to the video, feel free to do that. But without further ado, I'm going to just start and go through this essay. As a young teen in high school, I was frightened by homeless people. I would often take the longer route on my way to school to avoid running into them. At the time, I thought that homelessness was a choice and that all homeless people were either drug addicts or alcoholics. This perspective was shaped by my parents. I was often told to work hard in school or risk becoming homeless in the future myself. So right here, we have the hook and we have the context of this person before. So as a hook, we are drawn into the story, right? We're trying to think about, why was this person frightened by homeless people? What made him go out of his way to walk a longer route to school to avoid them? And then in the next paragraph, we get some more perspective, right? We learn about this, the writer, and who he was before the eventual experience that changed his beliefs, right? He thought, or she thought, that all the homeless people were either drug addicts or alcoholics, and that this perspective was largely shaped by their parents. They were told to work hard or risk becoming homeless, right? So while homelessness is a polarizing subject, the way this is framed is very unpolarizing, right? It takes the blame off of the writer, right? Well, I thought this because my parents influenced me, which is very natural, right? And as you grow up, you start to form your own perspectives on things and make your own choices, which is exactly what we're going to read, right? So the next paragraph, in the 10th grade, I began volunteering at my local thrift shop. In this role, I sorted clothing donations and managed the organization's social media presence. I would spend 6 hours each weekend at the store interacting with its customers. I became familiar with the regular patrons and realized most were homeless individuals who sought warm clothing for the winter season. It was here where I heard their stories and realized my prejudice. Through countless conversations, I learned of their struggles with job security, family issues, and mental illness. When I continued to conduct research online, I recognized my bias. Not all homeless people abused substances. In fact, only a small percentage of this population suffer from this issue. So, here the reader, or rather the writer, clearly states the experience that transformed their beliefs. He recognized his prejudice. He had a bias against homeless people. Not all of them were drug addicts or alcoholics. And through this experience at the thrift store, he was able to organically realize this, right? We could tell it makes a lot of sense how this experience changed him. And he continued to further do research to support this new perspective that he had. So, moving into the outcome, the impact. Inspired by their stories, I created Empty Cup, an organization that raises awareness for homelessness in Vancouver. Using an Instagram account, I featured various homeless people around Vancouver so they could share their stories and what they wish people knew about their situation. My page grew from 10 followers to over 20,000 in 1 year. In a team of 10, we collected over 10,000 cans of food and distributed over 500 care packages with clothing essentials. Through this experience, I learned to recognize my own biases and practice empathy towards others. Moving forward, I will use a holistic, evidence-based approach when forming my own perspectives on topics. I hope to bring my open-minded perspective to Queens while I would strive to foster an inclusive and supportive university environment. So I think this is a great paragraph, right? There's two things that we cover. Number one, the writer clearly states the impact that the previous experience, so working in the thrift shop, made on him, right? So he uses this as an opportunity to show off and talk about tangible things that he actually did as a result of this experience, right? He was prejudiced against homeless people. He went to work at a thrift shop and realized he was prejudiced. And so to give back to the community, he started an organization and sought to help this community, right? He was very, very detailed and quantitative and measured in the impact that he realized, right? Using numbers. So 20,000, grew the followers to 20,000, collected over 10,000 cans of food, distributed over 500 care packages. The more you can measure and show, the stronger your essay will be, right? So first he talks about his achievements, and secondly, we talk about the learning impact of this whole story, right? Through this experience, I learned to recognize my own biases and practice empathy towards others, right? This whole story is about recognizing prejudice and recognizing his own biases. The writer is very self-aware here, right? He's taken him down, taken himself off his high chair, and he's saying, look, I know I made a mistake, right? I was prejudiced, and now I did all these things to educate myself and be better. And we end with a forward-looking statement. Moving forward, I will use a holistic, evidence-based approach when forming his own perspectives, which makes sense and aligns with the theme of the essay, which is understanding your wrong, understanding your biases, and more so, taking actions to account for these biases and being better in the future, right? And to tie it all up, we bring it back to Queens. You know, he's going to be open-minded, and he's going to foster an inclusive and supporting university environment with this open-minded attitude. So overall, this is, I would say, a very strong essay. We clearly understand who this writer was before, what experience caused him to change his beliefs, and lastly, what the impact of this experience was. So that's all that I have for you for today. I hope that it was helpful and you guys were given some perspective on how to approach this question and start writing your own essay. If you thought this was helpful and you want to get some more support, please check us out at our website, admissionsally.ca. That's admissionsally.ca. We have 2 amazing packages to provide more support if you're looking for that kind of help. The first being the essential package, and the second being our premium package. In the essential package, you'll work with coaches like myself and Jessica and Joel as we give you one-on-one essay coaching and email support. We'll help you with your outline, and we'll give you our perspective on helping your essay realize your best potential. And secondly, with our premium package, you'll get essentially 24/7 support with a personal admissions coach, again, myself, Joel, or Jessica, in helping you form your perfect essay. So same quality of support in both these packages, just you have less in the essential package, less of our time, and more of a personal support in our premium package, basically on 24/7 call with you guys. You have access to our emails, our texts, or give us a call. So January's coming up, and it's going to be quickly ending. The last round of applications are due February 15th, and we do have limited spots available. So if you are interested, please reach out to us via Admissions Ally. And if you like the video, feel free to request myself as a coach. and I'd be happy to talk to you, meet you guys, and work through your experiences and your own outlines. That being said, that's all we have today. I hope this was helpful, and good luck to you guys on the rest of your essays, not just Queen's, but any of your universities. It's definitely a crazy time this year with COVID and virtual learning, so best of luck to your academic and extracurricular endeavors, guys.